Have any of you guys watching ever been excited for an FPS game each and every year that is not Call of Duty? If you guys have been, then you're well aware of the discussion around XDefiant. The last couple of times we talked about this game has been delay after people maybe being misled by expectations. The game was viral last summer or the summer before. It seems like forever ago, and has seemingly also fallen off the face of the map when it comes time for an actual release date. We now have a lot of other people giving their takes on this, including FaZe Jev, a reaction to Mark Rubin, the executive producer, who has responded to recent articles about more delays coming to XDefiant. This also coming to you guys by Tom Henderson over at Insider Gaming, a great source for these kind of things, as he wrote an article giving us some more insight on why XDefiant is still delayed, and will it ever actually release? As stated by Tom, Insider Gaming understands that XDefiant has missed dozens of internal targets in the past couple of years, including release dates, putting the game firmly in the realm of other Ubisoft titles that are constantly in limbo. Developers working on the project are becoming increasingly frustrated with the lack of progress, and in short, the game's shortcomings stem from the executives' pursuit of trying to copy Call of Duty rather than building their own game. Creatively, it's frustrating for the team, but from a technical perspective, it also presents new challenges, and this has become the main reason for delays. The never-ending hunt to chase COD and add pointless stuff always breaks the current game build, said one source, which often then requires days of fixing the game. And keep a note of that chasing Call of Duty comment, by the way. We'll circle back to that. And also stated in the article to kick it off, in September of 2023, Ubisoft had a free-to-play gem on their hands, XDefiant. The gameplay was good, the community was bustling, transparency from the devs was highly praised, and most of all, the game had a really passionate and dedicated community. 6 months on, and things are somewhat different for XDefiant, with fans increasingly expressing their frustrations with the lack of updates. According to Ubisoft's earnings report, XDefiant is scheduled to be released by the end of Q4 2024, which they mark as March 31st, but with just 1 week until the date, there's been zero indication of a release. The once low transparency is now seemingly dead, and XDefiant hasn't had an update for some time. Speaking with the developers at Ubisoft, who wish to remain anonymous because they are not authorized to speak about company plans, it's understood that XDefiant was aiming to release during the last week of February when this internal release date was made public via Ubisoft's earnings call, a deadline that was obviously missed. So all in all, still a great article, a great read on maybe why the delays are and the frustrations internally over at XDefiant of, not being shot out there, and also going on to say from their sources that someone had said that the game is trying to chase Call of Duty, and with Call of Duty's recent successes, or however you really interpret Call of Duty, trying to wait and balance when they should release or what they should be fixing, and an internal source saying that the chasing of Call of Duty, it can be a bit frustrating. And that point is something that was hung on to as the discussion carried over to Twitter and social media, where Mark Rubin made a comment. As someone else had kind of taken that and also posted about the whole chasing Call of Duty thing, the one thing we didn't want was COD reskin, drop the dang game and update it after we play. Crazy how this is still going on. Mark Rubin, executive producer, I'm going to give a little credit because he actually has been quite transparent, a bit talkative of these things, which I do enjoy. I think people as a whole want the project to be more transparent, but if there is anyone talking for XDefiant progress, it has been Mark, so I'll give him that credit. But he responded, just an FYI, nothing about our delay is due to any new features. In fact, not much has changed from a gameplay standpoint. The delay has been due to the tech issues we have talked about. Whoever said chasing COD in Tom's report was major eye roll. To which Tom then quoted saying, in truth, if you're a fan of XDefiant, I would be a little more wary in the future of the whole open transparency thing, as it usually has bigger implications and doesn't reflect what's truly going on. Another quote, another big statement from the article, so maybe it's not always about the whole chasing Call of Duty thing. Now the transparency thing comes up as well. And here's where Jev even finds himself in the discussion saying, I don't get it. The game was fully operational during the beta test. Just public that crap and build on it. F it. Then Mark Rubin responds, hee hee, I love you, Jev. Okay, Mark, I don't know if that's your best response, but hey, I love Jev too, so I wish we could have, but the party system was just not functional at all, the numbers we were expecting, so no one would have been able to play with friends. And the netcode right before launch got really bad. Bad enough that a lot of people would have dropped and not come back. We needed to fix those two things or the game might have been DOA. I loved your beta videos and cannot wait to see more. And Jev continues with Charlie Intel, as Intel says they thought they had a winning game formula because MW2 and Warzone 2 were doing poorly. Suddenly, Sledgehammer released MW3 with all the fixes and updates, and a lot wanted in Call of Duty, and I'm guessing Ubisoft panicked. Then Jeb says, what's wild is if you try and gauge the community on how they feel about MW3, they call it mid or don't have much enthusiasm for it. And so now we're just having speculation as to why XDefiant was delayed, and some people thinking is due to the recent successes of MW3. I don't know how I feel about that. You know, that's what Charlie had to say about it. And again, this is going to be open for interpretation about how everyone felt about game states, right? Whether it's MW2, Warzone 2, MW3, and what XDefiant was back in those times of really going viral and really being play tested, closed or open beta, I believe it was really, really the peak. I think it was last summer where the clips were just going viral, but albeit when I was playing the game, I was like, the more I played the game, I was like, this is nothing groundbreaking that I think would take away from Call of Duty. But a lot of people at the time were saying, hey, if Call of Duty's down bad, people would then go to XDefiant if it launched around the right time. And I don't know, man, like some people really enjoy MW3, others don't. As time drags on, obviously we all get a bit more disinterested in it, but I still believe that like XDefiant, for it to succeed as an FPS, it still has to be really good. Like they have to have, obviously, an ability to play with friends and all the other things that they are struggling with currently, which Mark has expanded on, by the way. It's missing a lot, and these are things that I think XDefiant needs, whether or not it's a bad Call of Duty season or a good one. If XDefiant doesn't work out the basic kinks and details, it's not going to work. Like, people will forget about it after a couple of days. I do agree with that. I don't know what you guys think about this. I'm totally fine with XDefiant being patient. It does suck that we were led on a little bit with those expectations and maybe thought it was going to be way earlier this year than it will be. But I'm still on the side of you need to really crack down and get it right. If you are trying to compete with Call of Duty or any FPS today, if you don't have it right on launch, it's not worth launching. I'll stick to that. But what do you guys think? As like I showed you guys before, Mark has been responding to a lot of people saying the game was not ready, far from just the gameplay, but even the netcode and networking issues they had, and even more. They said if we put kill cams in now, they are currently being worked on, then we would be delayed even more. The whole point of the delay was to lock the game and just put in bug fixes and the new updated netcode in social systems. Then responding to people saying they would really love kill cams, he says kill cams are massively difficult to do. Some engines are architectured in a way that could make it near impossible to actually put them in. And then along with the party system things they mentioned to Jev, someone also says, so fix those two things and launch the game. Why add new features? Mark responds, we didn't add new features. We've only been fixing those two things, but they required whole rewrites of those parts of the code. Then someone else says, wait, so it's taken 6 months to fix netcode in the friends list? I respect you and all, but there's got to be something else holding y'all up, right? Mark responds, you're kidding, right? That's probably the fastest anyone's built a new netcode system and social system. I'm not kidding at all. It may sound simple to say we built a new netcode and social system, but it's no joke, a lot of work. Hats off to the devs on the team doing this work. And so after all of that, like I do understand both sides. Like people want this game now, and maybe they think it could take a stab at Call of Duty without kill cams and without all these things. And the more I hear from XDefiant, the more I'm like, hey, you know what? It's just not ready. Wait until you're ready to release. The hype has already died down. How much more can it possibly die? I'm cool with the game waiting, because if you really want a contender for a good shooter right now, and especially in a Call of Duty cycle, even though we're towards, everyone's already hyped up for the new one and a new map coming to Warzone, whatever the frick Call of Duty cycle comes, I don't think you can play around that. You just got to release when you are ready and hope that the Call of Duty that year is what we've had the past 5 years, which is a mid Call of Duty. I would say MW3 is the best of the last 5, but everyone has their own preferences when it comes to Call of Duty. You just got to develop your game absent of those thoughts. XDefiant had a hype period, it wasn't ready to release, and now I think they should operate on their own timeline. But do I think it should be this year? Yeah, 100%. Do I think there's a lot of issues there that needed to be worked on? 100%. What do you guys think? Jev and many others giving their insights on the delays of XDefiant, and will we see the game release? I think so. When it's going to release? It's going to be a while, it seems. So give your thoughts down below. Till next time, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you back here soon. See you guys.